Well, that's good. I thought there'd be several people here waiting, but I'm sure
I
they'll.
am. Just can hardly wait.
And let's see.
Make me co-host. I will do whatever I need to do if I need to do anything.
Co-host. Let's see. Okay, you are co-hosted officially. Oh, I was doing some last minute updates to the PowerPoint.
Always good. So I'm going to go incognito now.
Hopefully, I put out a lot of opportunities for people to attend for free, so hopefully we will get extra people today for that.
I'll go into
Thank you for the text.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay. Welcome also, Connie.
Thank you, Paul.
Excuse me. I'm kind of still preparing my slideshow. Okay, this is not the one that I want, so we're going to close that. Yeah, this is the one that I want. Great. Got that organized. All right, it'll be a couple more minutes. Since this is the first one, we have to wait long enough for enough people to get here because the information is relevant to everybody as the first class. So I'm going to excuse myself for a minute and get some more Nam, which is a Thai for water. Okay. I'm going to just do one more posting in the chat groups so people know we're live. Terry says we're starting now. Good. Thank you, Terry. And was that same posting made in the Dow Hands? Okay, I'll make a posting there. Okay. All right, so thank you guys for your patience. Welcome, Gregory. Welcome, Gavin. Cass. Welcome, Amy. I'm going to give it just a little more time. Most of you are familiar with this. This particular course is the intermediate course, so we're only inviting people who have been with Dao Hands for a while or familiar with Master Sha's wisdom and teachings. Not really inviting anybody that's new. A lot of the information for a new person is going to be a little bit over their head without a little foundation. So this is actually the second in a series of 3 that I'll be talking about in a little bit. And they tend to build on each other. I did teach this program as a 12-week series 5 times, actually. And the purpose was to literally open people's spiritual channels, to cause them to be able to hear messages, to be able to translate messages, to be able to move towards efficiency, as well as open their spiritual channels, third eye, whatever the case may be. So one of the main reasons why a program like this is effective is because the information is taught in increments. The energy centers or channels or chakras or whatever is associated with opening the spiritual channels is individually impacted for a full week at a time, which causes the channels to be quite a bit more open. And a lot of people will take this Open Spiritual Channels program over a condensed weekend and receive downless treasures, whatever, but they don't actually do the practice. So one of the reasons this program is very effective as a extended program is because the extended time practicing one step at a time. And what that does is it gives the entire body, the energy body, the opportunity to actually clear and to actually receive. Plus, you need the practice in learning to hear messages, learning to translate messages. We need practice for that. And this is the other way that it fell. So unless somebody joins the year or 2 year long soul communication course, which is fabulous, then the amount of time necessary, practice necessary, simply doesn't occur. So in creating this program, if the person follows the guidelines and the steps, absolutely they will have some good results. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So everybody here knows who I am, but I'm going to present as if maybe you didn't, because maybe you don't know some things about me. So I will share my screen. And this, of course, is being presented from Master Sha Tao Center, Portland. And this is the intermediate course. So this is the middle course of 3 courses. Now, ideally, we want people to attend the first course, which is the lower Dan Tian, the Kundalini Snow Mountain area, the message center, heart chakra, the third eye, and the Zhu Chao. And in that course, it takes 4 weeks to teach it. It sets the foundation. This intermediate course, I go into detail in each of the 7 soul houses, what are commonly referred to as chakras. And at the same time, I interweave activity related to opening up the spiritual channels for receiving communication. So you'll see that start to play out, and I'll explain how I do that. And then the final in the series of 3 is the 4 major channels. That's a 4-week series where we go into the soul language channel, the direct soul communication channel, the third eye channel, and the direct knowing channel. And so in teaching this last one, these 4 weeks, it was actually a very wonderful experience because I had to, there's not a lot of teachings that Master Sha offers on it. And so I had to do a lot of things in flow and find the information where it was found. And it was fun to teach it. So there's a lot of good information here that a lot of people would probably not be familiar with. So we are in the middle one right now. So for those that don't know me, my name is Paul Fletcher, and I am a certified master teacher and master healer, certified from the Tao Academy. I've been on this spiritual journey about 30 plus years. Started when I was 18 years old, picked up a book called The Treatise on White Magic by Alice Bailey. And that was connected to what's called the Theosophical Society, which goes back to the early 1900s, and some very high-level esoteric wisdom that started piquing my interest at the age of 18. And so shortly thereafter, about the age 21 or so, somebody at the place I worked at, which is Motorola, said, hey, you might want to meet my spiritual teacher. So I met the guy. And his name was Ribi Kala. And Ribi had been training under somebody who also trained under the Theosophical Society wisdoms. So there was a lineage, if you will, that had been training under these wisdoms that somehow I came across these books. And this teacher had written his own book, so basically bring it down to a more simplified version versus the ancient way of saying things, that, those, and the 1900s way of speaking was just so methodical, very, very difficult to comprehend. Kind of like I can't think of it at the moment, but so anyway, this particular teacher in Scotland, in Scottsdale, Scotland, Scottsdale, Arizona, which is where I was living at the time, he went through the process of legally enrolling in the state a theosophical school, which was called the Ageless Wisdom University. So I attended this school with him for 4 years, and I actually got a theosophical degree in it was in their level, it was called a Bachelor of Science of Theosophy. So that basically it meant that I understood the religions. I also, in my life, have studied under 3 enlightened masters. The first one was a Korean master, and I trained with their group, and I went over to Korea for 6 months, and I sat with my legs crossed in a heck of a lot of pain because, I'm used to sitting in chairs, and that's where I learned to feel my energy body, open up my energy body, and I learned their process. And this particular enlightened master did not teach a lot that I understood because he was Korean. But they had a lot of dedicated, they actually called their masters over there. They had 100 centers, and they basically taught people how to open their energy body through specific movements, postures, and practices. And so that's what I learned. And I realized that wasn't my long-term goal, so I moved on and floundered for a year or two and came across a second enlightened master, which is a female Chinese master. And this particular person was very, very special. Excuse me. I came across this person in an ad, and a spiritual book ad. So there was at least 100 articles in there and advertisements, but she's the one that popped out at me. So I went to her three-day retreat where she promised to open your crown chakra. She promised to heal with your hands. What was it? Soul travel. She promised a couple of unique things that I had no clue about back then. And so I went to this 3-day retreat, and I experienced things in my world that I had never, ever experienced before. My soul travel was profound. My first time I'd ever met this person called Kuan Yin was in this soul travel. Kuan Yin handed me a purple sphere. This was in a room where for 10 minutes the master turned on the loud music, and we're sitting in high chairs about a couple of feet apart from each other. And I'm in my high chair going, yeah, whatever, I'm going to soul travel in my high chair. Sure. But sure enough, I did. And I came back with an extraordinary experience. Some of you might come across an image that I have. In fact, I can't show it to you because I'm using a backdrop. But long story short, that experience and another experience in that weekend really awakened me to, holy moly, there really is a heaven, there really is a soul world, and there really is a whole lot out there that I am completely clueless about. And there's something out there that can cause my skin to move, and prickles in my head. And it was some truly extraordinary experiences in that 3-day weekend. So I trained with that particular enlightened master with her Qigong method. She was a Qigong master. She created her own. And basically that's a form of energy movement to help clear out our Shen Qi Jing blockages. And so I did that for a while with this teacher. And in that class, in those 3 years, I learned very little, but I'm sure I cleared a lot of blockages. But heaven also was putting Paul through some extraordinary testing, which I won't go into in this class. Bottom line was I got to the point where I was not getting any more value out of working with that teacher and working with those teachings. And right about that time, Master Sha showed up. And so I started following his wisdom, reading his books, and now you know where I'm at today. I'll give you a little hierarchy on how I got where I'm at. So these last 12 years, I have been training quite a bit. So what I teach on is what I've actually learned. And I have taught this entire program 5 times before to about 100 students over the course of a couple of years, learning every time. So there's a lot actually for a teacher. When you actually teach this, you learn extraordinary amounts of what works, what doesn't work, and the processes people go through when they're opening their spiritual channels, which is what I'm going to talk to you about next. So what are some of the benefits you can expect from doing these classes? You can expect a clear understanding of why you're here on Earth at this time. I'm going to go, this first class is going to be all about soul, and you're going to have a much deeper understanding of that. You will have a pure and more loving experience in your relationships. I covered a lot of this actually in the first class. Some of you may or may not have been in that first class. Layered release of lifelong suffering. Of course, it'll take longer than this 12 weeks. But when you start clearing the blockages within your energy body, what happens is the blockages in your energy body are creating the suffering in your life. So naturally, as you work with me every week, doing more and more practices, you're clearing those sufferings, and you start to become happier, of course, in all things, including the lifelong sufferings. So you can expect with time more energy and less emotional pain. Emotional pain does sit in our energy body, and as we clear it, naturally it won't bother you as much. Certainly greater happiness, more love for yourself, which is always awesome, and for others. You can also expect a deeper understanding of your soul, your energy body, and its direct association to your soul, and your energy body, your soul, and its direct association to your health. We're going to go into depth with that today. You can expect life-changing awakenings that will empower your future. Why? Very simple. When you start to awaken to what the other 99% of what we are is, we operate in this 1% as if we are the 99%. that's just the biggest error that all humanity can make. An enlightened being is one that operates in the 99% and sees it as the 99%. They completely ignore the 1% that you and I call the 99%. And by living in what is truly there, they're ecstatic. They can bounce in and out of existence. They have no problems whatsoever. They're just very happy, enlightened beings because they don't give a lot of attention. So this pathway moves you out of the suffering and into enlightenment stages. You can expect a greater attunement to heaven, to your soul, and to the web of life. That's what everybody wants. They want to see the holy beings. They want to communicate with them. They want to have greater attunement with their soul. And they want to understand, why do these things happen? What is the connectivity of all things? This will help you to accomplish that. Next slide. You can expect the release of long-standing energy blockages, a noticeable increase in physical energy. You can expect less emotional reaction and greater control and emotional balance. We've touched on some of this already, but one of the things that to bring out to the forefront is greater control of your emotions. Because, for me in my life, I've had issues with anger. And, I got married about 7 years ago now. And one of my personal issues was that, I am and was a very good communicator. But that didn't matter. My wife is Thai. So it didn't matter how exceptional my English was or my ability to put together the perfect set of words to get across the point without having to repeat myself. It had zero relevance in this new relationship. And so I had massive attachments to having my information being understood the first time I explained it. This is a huge attachment. And when it wasn't, I would get irritated. I would get irritated at my wife because she didn't understand me. But this is like not even her second or third language. It's like, she had maybe a 20% comprehension of English. So how stupid is that I would get angry at her for my lack of tolerances, right? So when we open our spiritual channels, we can clear those kinds of blockages, and our control over those kinds of reactions and auto things like that, they come up and they give us an opportunity to transform them. I could see it, but I had to kind of stop myself and then sit back and posture with it. Okay, this is my stuff. I'm still angry about it, but it's my stuff. And I had to process through it. Most of us don't see it. Most of us don't take responsibility. One of the great values of opening our channels is our soul says, hey, this is your stuff, man. This is not this other person's fault. You need to take responsibility. And then I can or you can, as you do these practices, learn to ask questions, learn to receive guidance. How do I transform this? What steps do I take? What practices do I do to remove this observation that I now have that this is really my issue? Thank you, my soul, for making this observation clear to me, where 2 years ago I might not have seen it. And then heaven, how can I transform this? So open spiritual channels don't just magically remove this stuff. They provide the tools, the techniques, and the processes by which you can see them, and then give you the guidance to remove them in a healthy, balanced way. Okay. You'll have a greater understanding. This is really key. You're going to have a greater understanding of your soul's power and potential. I cannot put enough emphasis on that. Your soul has extraordinary power and potential, and you're going to discover just how much in just a few minutes. It will naturally increase your ability to bring healing to others. Whether you're a healer or not, you'll have a natural propensity to bring a much higher level of healing just by being in others, because your field will be more clear, meaning you'll be able to shine more light. And that will, of course, benefit all those around you. And if you are already a healer, then naturally there will be less crud for heaven and earth to deal with as they're offering blessings through you. You can expect a noticeable attunement in your communication with your soul. There's a possibility that your third eye will either open more or open. And you can expect a stabilization of health issues if you continue to do the practices. Okay. So let's talk about what you can expect in this 8-week course. I would say most of you have signed up for this program already. There may be some of you that are considering it and have not done so yet. This recording will be made available to quite a few of you that will be watching this for the first time. And you'll be hearing me say to you right now, this is what you would get if you signed up for this 8-week course. The rest of you who already have, this is what you can expect. So each class will be 90 to 120 minutes. And it's Thursday nights from 7 to 9 p.m. 90 to 120 minutes, Thursday night 7 to 9 p.m. for the next 8 weeks. And I did take into consideration, I believe that December 24th, that's skipped. And then the last one falls, I think, on the 31st. So I tried to not get in the way of the holidays. Now also you'll notice the books off to this side. These are the best books to refer to. I do use them in the explanations of the different soul houses, chakras, throughout the training, the teachings, as well as to the soul communication aspects. Power of Soul, Soul Healing Miracle, Tao Song, Tao Dance. If you don't have them, check with Terry McGill. He's on tonight, and he probably has these books sitting in his garage because he's been our library for a little while. So thank you, Terry. And Terry can put his email in the chat for those that want to connect with him. So week 1, this week, today, understanding your soul. Week 2, understanding the nature, power, and significance of your first soul house. It's actually a large topic, plenty to talk about. Week 3, second soul house and power of forgiveness.
Hey, Paul.
Yes.
We aren't seeing a screen. Are you supposed to be sharing a screen right now?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
And week 3 is the second soul house. And this is where we introduce the power of forgiveness. I go into much greater detail because this is actually one of the most important tools in opening your spiritual channels. It's like if you have a tool chest, you got a hammer, you got a screwdriver, you got pliers, you got a couple of other things in there. You need the right tool for the right job. Power of forgiveness is huge. We'll go into detail with that. Week 4, I'll go into detail on the third soul house. There's actually quite a bit of information to cover there that most people might not be familiar with. Week 5 is the fourth soul house, and we start to introduce soul communication and how to do better and higher soul communication. Now, since most of the people that will be attending this will have revealed their soul language, I haven't decided yet if I'm going to be covering that in here. If I do, it'll probably be nominal. But when I go into the advanced course, of course, I will cover that at a much deeper level. The 6th week is the 5th soul house, throat chakra, and different aspects of soul communication that we don't cover in the prior week. In the week 7, we go into the 6th soul house, and again, practices. We're going to be moving into practices in all 3 of those weeks for soul communication. And then in week 8, we will do the 7th soul house and go into depthful teachings on the nature of enlightenment and the association with this entire 8-week course and enlightenment. There will be a lot of good wisdom teachings in that as well. So this is what you can expect as far as this course. Okay, so let's jump right in. What is the soul? So there are many characteristics of the soul. Some of this information can be found in the Power of Soul book, pages 4 through 7. And so we have what's called the body soul. The body soul is in charge. It's in charge of your heart. It's in charge of your energy centers. It's in charge of everything. Now, this is an interesting statement because you, as seasoned students, know or have heard that everything has a soul. So let me offer a different perspective in case you're new and listening to this for the very first time. The soul is a golden light being, according to Master Sha. You see that. What is a soul? It's a golden light being. And how did he get that explanation? Because if I ask 100 people, what is a soul, you'd get 100 different responses. You might get 1 or 2 that cross over and are almost identical. But for the most part, you get 100 different responses. Well, when Master Sha asked heaven, what is your definition of a soul? They said, it's a golden light being. Oh, that's very nice. And so you'll also hear Master Sha use the 1-sentence secrets. Everyone and everything has a soul. And he talks and he says the purpose of every soul is to serve. And in China, where he grew up, they don't talk about soul. They talk about spirit. And so he would use the word spirit over there. And they don't say the word God, they'll say Lao Ten Ye, which means old man in the sky. So different terminologies, but they basically mean the same things. And so in his wisdom, what heaven has shared with him is that everything has spirit. In the West, we would say everything has soul. And some people say, well, does that mean the table or the plastic or the computer screen or the cup in front of me, does that have a soul? The answer is yes and no. It does not have a soul like you and I. It does not talk to us. It has a makeup of energy and matter created by Creator. So when everything has a soul, everything has spirit, the simplest way to comprehend that is that Creator created everything, every speck of energy and matter that has consolidated to make this cup. Every speck of energy and matter that is consolidated to make a dog or has consolidated to make the chair you're sitting on. So everything has energy creator in it. Therefore, everything has spirit. Therefore, everything has a soul. That's a very important understanding, because the entirety of your success in healing, in opening or further opening your spiritual channels, the entirety of your success in healing anything that needs to be healed is founded on this very, very, very important base understanding. Without this understanding, your chances of success in transforming the blockages in your life are going to be diminished, simply because you're not dealing with the root. And the root is that everything has a soul. And if you can understand that everything has a soul, including a major health issue, the soul of your liver if it has cancer, the soul of your failed relationship, everything has a soul. The soul of your healthy or failed finances, everything has a soul. If you cannot understand that everything has a soul, then you cannot deal with the root cause of transforming it. If you want to open your spiritual channels, then you work with the soul of those energy centers or chakras or spaces associated with your spiritual awakening. Everything has a soul. Now, the next sentence is that the purpose of every soul is to serve. And I'm going to go into more detail on that in a little bit. But understand that this is where the rubber hits the road, and this is your association to being here on this day. You have a body soul. Your heart has a soul. Your chakras have a soul. Everything within you has a soul, and there is a boss of that soul, which is your body. And there's a boss of your body, which is you, your soul. So your soul, your soul, has a consciousness. It has an intelligence. It has likes and dislikes very different from you. You are a personality. Your soul actually has a personality as well. Isn't that interesting? Your soul has a personality as well. And some of it has carried over into you, but some of it has not. You have developed your own personality. If you were truly fully aligned with your soul, you'd be carrying your soul's personality. Your soul has a consciousness and an intelligence. How many lifetimes has your soul experienced? You, Bob, Karen, Connie, Amy. How many lifetimes have you, Amy, had? Amy's had one, as Amy Meadows. Cass has had one, as Cass Pangel. Karen's had one, as Karen. But you might have been Bob, Mary, Joe. You might have been, Ching, Patel. You could have been any number of things in other times. So who remembers that? Do you remember that? Probably not, but your soul does. Your soul remembers when you were a carpenter. Your soul remembers when you were a piano player. Your soul remembers when you were a mother or a father of different children. Your soul has phenomenal intelligence. Phenomenal. Unbelievable intelligence. And it's really sad that we don't get that at a very deep level, because if we did, we would do everything in our power to hear what our soul has to say, because I guarantee you it has a lot of wisdom that would save you a lot of suffering if you actually could hear your soul. It has likes and dislikes. It might not like ice cream, certain kinds of ice cream. It might not like that person that you're with. and you can't seem to figure it out. You really like that person for, let's say, their body, but you don't really like the rest of them. You can't figure out why. They're nice to you. Maybe it's because your soul knows that's not the right person for you. Your soul has likes and dislikes. Souls have emotions. Interesting. Souls can be upset. Who would have thunk? If your soul was fully enlightened, it would not have emotions. In one of Master Sha's higher level teachings, we won't go into very much of it today, there is several souls that come to you. There is 3 souls that come to you. This would be interesting. Give you a little bit on that. One soul comes to right here. It's called your Lingong, soul temple. That soul is in charge of recording everything. So when you're born, there's a soul that goes right here. Your heart's here, your heart chakra's here, but right in between is this soul temple. And there's a soul that comes to you when you're created. When sperm and egg come together. Bink, soul created. Okay, that's one of them. Heaven told Master Sha this. Another soul is your soul. Okay, you know, Karen's soul, Mary's soul, Paul's soul. Okay, our soul, and that soul has all lifetimes experience that it has since its creation. Okay, there is another soul that is higher. This is very advanced wisdom, so I'm only going to give you a snippet of it. Higher. And it is within the Tao, within the source, within the creator. It is the role model. It is the pure form of you, the perfect, pure, fully enlightened form of you. Yuan Shin, original soul. It's called Yuan Shin, original soul. And it is communicating, sending frequency, vibration, and blessings to your soul. And your soul has a personality. It's flawed, but it has a lot more wisdom than you, the personality. And the idea within this and all of our time is to clear our crud, which causes our soul to become up to the speed where it used to be. Because remember, if you believe in reincarnation, we, according to Master Sha, even if we're a very high level being, you look at Master Sha, if you come to a lot of his events, he'll tell you he went to a lot of suffering as a young man, massive amounts of suffering, died almost, very close to dying. Why would somebody at his caliber almost die? Doesn't make a lot of sense, right? Because, as he explained, even very enlightened beings still have to come back until they reach the highest levels, and they don't have to come back. And they might be at the highest levels, but choose to come in to serve. That's their choice. But they take a chance of making a mistake. So in this enlightenment journey, the idea is to wake up as quickly as possible. I was blessed at age 18 to pick up a book that started waking me up. You guys have your own story. And we wake up, and we clear, and we come to the point where we reach where we were before. Then we need to go higher. That's our soul's intention. It wants to get to the point where I stop coming back again and be done with this stuff, because it's not all that fun sometimes. That's the overall goal and intention. So does this have anything to do with opening your spiritual channels? Why is Paul talking about all this stuff? He's talking about soul. I came here to open my third eye. It has everything to do with that. Because when we open our spiritual channels by doing the classes and understanding the nature of your soul and understanding the nature of your soul's connection to getting to the end point, you can start hearing the messages, start making less mistakes, start clearing those blockages faster, get back to the point where you were before if you're not already there, and then accelerate beyond that, which you cannot do if your channels are not open. Got it? All right, let's go back to the slideshow. I get a little too excited sometimes, huh? Let me see, where am I at here? So your soul has great memory. You ever walked into a room and you just, wow, that person is just so attractive to me. Something about them, I just got to meet them. Or you walk into a room and you're like, oh man, I am not getting anywhere near that person. There's something about that person I just don't like. You don't even know what it is. You haven't met them. You just know. Your soul has good memory. It knows these things. Same thing if you're really good at something, but you never did it before. Guess what? You actually have done it before. Your soul remembers. That's why you're good at it this time around. Your soul has great memory. Your souls have flexibility. What does that mean? It can adjust. It can adjust to the best response. Your soul can see things coming. It knows what's coming. It tries to be flexible to allow you to have your internal processes, let your monkey mind do what it's going to do, and then it'll actually try to give you guidance over here to get you back on track. Your soul has great flexibility to work with you. Next page. Your soul communicates with other souls naturally. What does that mean? Literally, your soul and other souls are talking, and you don't even know it. Your soul could be talking to the tree. It could be talking to the other person across the room, 30 feet away, and your soul could be like, hey, Mary, long time no see. Maybe Paul will wake up and come over and see you. Yeah, I'd really like to reconnect. We've got a lot we can work with together. And guess what? Maybe later on, you go and you meet Mary. Our souls are always connecting. And they can communicate with each other, but not just at the human level. We can communicate with trees, with birds, with animals. We can communicate with just about anything. Why? Because the base foundation teaching, everything has a soul. And when we learn, as we go through this course and into the more advanced course, how to open our spiritual channels, you will learn how to receive the information, how to translate the information, how to clear yourself to where you can have communication with things that you might think do not have anything to say. Souls can travel. Souls can travel. Isn't that cool? So souls have the ability to travel just about anywhere they want to. Now, Master Sha talks about soul travel, and he's actually quite cautious about it. And one of the reasons why, short version of the story, is early on in his excitement, he took a team of his students soul traveling. And when he said, oh, come back, one of the much older ladies was enjoying it too much. She didn't come back. And so he had to send a Heaven's General to go get her. And when the Heaven's General went to go get her, she's like, I don't want to come back. I like the energy here. This is very nice. It's much less painful and much more beautiful than the pain in my 80-year-old body. And the general had to drag her back and throw her into her body. So Master Sha has not offered soul travel since then. But you hear about it all the time. You hear about it on the internet. You hear people doing it all the time. But there is a risk. He also talks about to not move your body. If you are a very deep meditator, you go off for a day at a time, or you believe you know how to soul travel and you're good at it, great, congratulations. Make sure that whoever is in your home knows that you're not dead, and make sure they don't move you. Okay? Because someone who's really soul traveling like an advanced being and could be gone for a day or a week or so, that does happen for advanced beings. If their body is moved, their soul gets lost. It's very simple. Don't go there. Souls can travel. Souls have incredible healing power. Incredible healing power. Literally, if you just ask your soul to offer healing to anybody you know and care about, and you just sit down quietly and meditate. Thank you to my soul for healing my friend. Thank you to my soul for healing my friend. You just stay connected to your soul. Your soul will be like, blah, 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 blah. Your soul has incredible healing abilities. And very much it could create, without any of your healing powers, it could create a very phenomenal result. Okay. It also might not, but it's certainly possible that it could. And one of the reasons why is because our souls have done this stuff before. This is not the first rodeo, okay? You didn't get to where you're at today watching this live and in person because this is all new to you. You've done the rodeo before. but now you're in the remembering process so that you can get to back where you were and then go forward beyond that stage. That's why you're in this rodeo this time around. So souls can prevent sickness or they can cause rejuvenation. This is under what's called soul power. This is under what's called soul orders. You can literally, in Master Sha's Soul Power book, he goes into a whole chapter on it. My soul orders my body to rejuvenate. My soul orders my body to rejuvenate. Or let's say you have a spine issue. My soul orders my spine to heal and rejuvenate. Heart issue, same thing. My soul orders my heart to heal and rejuvenate. So your soul can actually, because it's the boss, remember there's a hierarchy. Your soul, your body soul, then your heart, and then the cardiovascular system is the boss of all the systems. The heart is the boss of all the organs, right? There's a hierarchy. The soul there's hierarchy. And so our soul has a boss too, the Yuan Shen, original soul in the Tao. And so everything in soul has hierarchy. Therefore, it has the power to prevent sickness or rejuvenate you through what's called soul orders. You can learn more in the Power of Soul book. Very, very powerful technique. Souls can help you clear your own blockages. We just gave you an example, but what's another way? Listening to them. When you learn to open your spiritual channels, you can listen to your soul. You can say, dear my soul, my life just sucks and I'm not enjoying this at all. And I really need a solution and I'm tired of trying to figure it out myself. And if you actually listen, your soul will say, okay, well, let go of that person. And your monkey mind will go, but I don't want to. What about this? And what about that? And what about this? And what about that? And your soul will go, okay, how's it work for you so far? Because your soul knows what's going to serve you and it can help you to clear your own blockages if you actually listen to it, which you can't do if you don't open your spiritual channels more. Souls have incomprehensible power and potential power. Why incomprehensible? Because your soul can be the size of this universe, literally, not figuratively. Literally, your soul can grow that size and bigger. It only gets that size as you expand your light and decrease the gibberish, decrease the emotions, decrease the monkey mind, decrease the attachments, decrease all of the greed, the anger, the tension, everything that keeps us unhappy. We decrease it, and everything that brings us happiness through meditation and practices and serving and healing others and letting go of our blockages, letting go of the need to be right, letting go of ego, all of that stuff. As we decrease that and increase all the light-based things, then our soul gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And as it does, our power to heal, our power to do just about anything gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And any of the light ball transmissions that you have ever received in the past and any of the ones that you ever receive in the future, what's their purpose? To make your light body bigger and bigger and bigger. And at some point, if you do your job well, and if you remove the blockages as best as possible, you have the possibility of literally becoming a fully enlightened being where you are pure light. That is the ultimate goal, and it's possible in this lifetime more than any other. Hear me clearly. It's possible in this lifetime more than any other because of this being named Master Sha, who has the ability to take heaven's light and put it in our body. That's what a light bulb is. It's heaven's light, condensed light, and it goes into our body. And it just comes in and it grabs and attaches to our soul. And we become bigger and bigger and bigger. And if we do our part while we're here, clearing out the crud, transforming the negative mindsets, transforming more negative, if we do our part, we can potentially become fully enlightened in this life. And that, trust me, is your soul's ultimate goal. Your soul can teach your heart and your mind. It can teach your heart and your mind. How awesome is that? There are three kinds of enlightenment. There's soul enlightenment, there's heart enlightenment, there's mind enlightenment. Soul enlightenment is the easiest Heart enlightenment, much, much, much harder. Mind enlightenment, Master Shah, it's easier literally to move a mountain than it is to reach mind enlightenment. What is mind enlightenment? The short version is zero thought, zero negative thought. Zero thought, just nothingness. That's mind enlightenment. Not easy. So your soul can teach you how to clear the heart blockages, greed, selfishness, attachments. These are heart blockages, okay? Mind blockages, negativities of all kinds. Soul can help you with these things. It knows what needs to be cleared. When you have your soul spiritual channels open, what can happen is you can actually get warning from your soul. Warning, hey, don't go there. And if you actually start paying attention and don't do that, then you don't create negative. You might have a negative message come up. Your soul says, reverse that negative message. And you say, oh, sorry. This is how your soul can help you. Souls can store and retrieve messages. You should have fun with this. You really try this one. Can't find something, can't remember something. Okay, let it go. Dear my soul, I love you. I know you know the answer to this. Can you please help me find that thing that I misplaced? Just let me know when the timing's right. Thank you. And you just forget about it. You go about doing your business. And who knows, hour, 2 hours later, possibly the next day, you just think, oh, there it is. You walk right over to it. Boom, there it is. Or you need to remember something. It's just not there. Dear my soul, I know you know the answer. Could you just pop this in my head? And you just go about do your other business. And occasionally, the best way to do it is occasionally just think, okay, what's the answer? Okay, not there yet. Then you go about doing it. Okay, what's the answer? And then it pops in. Because your soul is just looking for the opportunity for you to be conscious enough to pop it in there. Because it knows what the answer is. You just got to ask it. Souls can store and retrieve messages. Soul is constantly searching for knowledge. But it's searching for the knowledge that will help it to become fully enlightened. It's not searching for book knowledge. It's not searching for how to fix your car knowledge. It's not searching for how to make your face pretty or younger knowledge. It's searching for how to assist itself to fully find its way back home to the heart of Creator. That's what your soul is searching for. Next slide. And I'm not showing you the slides because you can probably learn better as I a little more Italian this way. There are inner souls and there are outer souls. Now, most of you know this, but for those that don't, inner souls, we just talked about everything within your body. Okay, heart has a soul, brain has a soul, all the cells within your brain has a soul, everything has a soul. Outer souls, everything that's outside of us. What is an outer soul? Well, a computer is actually an outer soul. It's outside of you, isn't it? Right? Cell phone is an outer soul, but we're actually talking about outer souls that have greater frequency and vibration than you and me. That's what we're talking about with this explanation. So the outer souls of beings of light, God's an outer soul. Source, Creator, you have a different name. Earth is an outer soul. The sun, the moon, stars, planets, galaxies, universes, Jesus, Buddha, Mother Mary, Krishna, outer souls. They all have outer souls. So why is this important to understand? Because we, as a human living this life, we are a soul having a physical experience. And we have awoken to that, and we are trying to be much more of a soul having a soul experience versus this experience that can be unpleasant at times. And so as a soul having this physical experience, what are some of the ways we can more quickly transform ourselves? Number one, surround yourself with light, frequency, and vibration as much as possible. That means going out and being with Mother Earth, great, because her frequency is higher than yours and mine. If that means, having a good time with heaven through meditation, do it. The key is bring your physical body to a higher frequency as much as you can. And so when we call the outer souls, dear Jesus, please come. Dear Buddha, please come. Dear Mother Mary, please come. Dear God, please come. What are we in essence doing? We are asking those that have done what we're doing a whole lot longer than we've done it, and now they have a much higher frequency, and we're asking their assistance. Why will they come? Why will Buddha come? Why will Jesus come? Why will God come? Because they have a built-in compass. They know that the way to enlightenment is through service. And that's how they got to the soul standing that they are at. That's how they got to the enlightened level they're at. Of course, God, God's God. But everyone else is on the way to that frequency and vibration. And that being of love and light, Jesus, is a pretty busy guy. He gets called on probably about 2 million times a second, right? But as an enlightened soul, they can go anywhere at any time and be with everybody at the same time. And they will be. Why? Because it's built into their DNA. It's built into their knowingness to serve is the highest frequency and vibration. So by serving, what does God do? Jesus comes, serves us because we ask. What does God do? God gives Jesus more flowers of love and light. God gives Jesus more virtue and elevates Jesus' soul. Same thing when Buddha comes. Same thing with any being of love and light comes. Okay? So if you start to understand the hierarchy of things and why those beings of light would come, we want to call on those outer souls. We want to ask Mother Earth to come. We want to ask anybody in heaven to join us. This is ask the soul of the Himalayas to join us, the soul of the Pacific Ocean to bring healing to you. Some come, some don't, but it's going to raise your frequency. You've heard us beg to you to come to the Tao Calligraphy Healing Field. Come, don't come, your choice. What's the purpose? To bring your physical body into a higher frequency and vibration so that you don't suffer, so that you become an enlightened being. 1 + 1 = 2. Souls can reward you and also give you warnings. They can reward you and they can give you warnings. You've been warned before, I guarantee it. That was that time when you followed your monkey mind and it didn't work out so well for you. But you heard before you followed your monkey mind, this is the right way to go. Oh, maybe it's a relationship. Oh, but they're so sexy. And then 3 years later, you had to sell the car, you had to sell the house, you got an ugly divorce, blah, blah, blah. But they were sexy. Followed your mind, not your soul. Learned a lesson, didn't you? So your souls can give you warnings. Do we listen? Souls can reward you. Souls can reward you. You could have got home after a series of events that happened on the way home where you had to take a left turn, you had to go around the detour, and you had to do this and that, and you're grumbling the whole way home, and you get home and you hear about the subway accident that you were going to get on the subway, but didn't work out, and you got sidetracked. It took you 2 hours longer, but you could have been in the same subway train accident. Your souls reward you when you listen to them. They cause you to avoid calamities. Souls follow spiritual laws and principles. There's so many ways your soul can reward you. That's just a simple example. Souls follow spiritual laws and principles. They know, your soul knows at its deepest core level. It's built in, born in, the law of cause and effect. It is a universal law. It is immutable. No one gets away outside of the law of cause and effect. Every soul in all universes have to deal with it. What's another word for it? The sins of the father are visited upon the son. What's another word for it? Karma. You can call it whatever you want. Cause and effect. Okay? Positive, negative information in Tao science language. But your soul knows those laws. And it does not want you or your children or anyone else to make those mistakes. The soul also knows you have, not you, because the you, Cass, or the you, Paul, or the you, Terry, is not what we were before. We were Bob, Mary, Joe before, right? But your soul knows that the previous incarnations made mistakes. And it knows that those negative information or those blockages are going to show up in this experience. And so because it knows that, it wants to follow the spiritual laws and principles. It wants to ensure that you, the personality in this life, doesn't make those same mistakes. And more importantly, it wants you to see that whatever suffering you're in was not accidental. It wants you to see that it was not accidental, that the suffering you're in could very likely be, it's not 100% always, but it could very likely be as a result of mistakes. Why is it not always? Because sometimes, shit just happens. Okay, sometimes it just happens. But between 90-95% of the time, there's definitely some connectivity there, right? And when those things just happen, there's almost always a lesson and a value to be gained from it. So when the things are not so pleasant, there's always a lesson to be gained from it. When the things just kind of happen, there's something to be gained from it as well. And your soul knows these spiritual laws and principles. So it is guiding you. Like the bowling ball going in and hitting the bumper on the left, hitting the bumper on the right, and eventually it hits the pins down the middle and you get a strike. That's your soul. It's the guidance on the left and the guidance on the right that's knocking you back and forth down the middle till you finally get a strike. It knows the laws. Please try to listen to it. Your soul is eternal. You know that. But another way of stating that is it is a circle. What does that mean? It is a circle. It means that it originated from one source and it is within that same source at all time. Your Yuan Shin, your original soul, is within the source at all time. There's another version, your soul, which is experiencing, and your original soul is guiding your soul. And collectively, it all comes back to the same circle. It's eternal. Your soul yearns to reach enlightenment. Yearns, Y-E-A-R-N-S, yearns, begs, hopes, wishes. But guess who is responsible for your soul reaching enlightenment? Ta-da! It's you. How exciting is that? You're responsible. You came? Did you come in satellite ready? Did you come in prepared for that? Most of us did not. Most of us have been busy waking up after we got our butt kicked with life. And so as we wake up, as we realize that we have an opportunity, it's very wise to put as much soul empowering wisdom in front of you, as much light and light frequency and vibration in front of you. It's extremely wise to put your physical body in the highest frequency fields possible, like the Tao Chong and all things for the Tao Calligraphy Healing Field, like all the light bulbs transmissions. Okay, I'm not selling, I'm just telling you it's common sense. It's just 1 + 1 = 2. How are you going to help your soul get to enlightenment? And when you put yourself in the field and when you get the light bulbs, what in essence are you really doing? You're taking a shovel and you're scooping out massive amounts of unpleasant stuff that will cause you financial suffering, relationship suffering, health issues. That's what you're doing. Every time you put yourself in the field, every time you get a light bulb, you're like a big bulldozer, big bulldozer, okay? So is it hard financially to do it? Shake your head, yes. Unless you're a millionaire, it's hard to put your money into something like this. But when you have this wisdom, you do it anyway, because you know, and your soul knows that it's the right thing for you. And you know, and your soul knows that it will make your life dramatically easier this life and in the future. So do everything you can to keep yourself in this field. And if you find yourself going through purification, which I don't know if I'll talk about that at some point. I don't know if it's in this course or later on. But purification means suffering. It means you're caught up in the drama. It means you're stuck in the 99%, which is really the 1%, when you should be focusing on the 99%. It means you're stuck in a drama. It means that you're in pain. And if you're there, the number one thing you should do is call one of the teachers. Call Terry, call me, call Rulin, call Loveness, call Patty, call one of the teachers and say, I'm really in pain and I'm stuck and I need some help. And what are we going to do? We're going to shower you with higher frequency and it'll wash away the crud, bring out the shovel, throw it out, and all of a sudden, ding, aha, I'm back. Great. And you stay on the journey because life will keep coming at you and it'll keep throwing those curveballs at you. It'll keep knocking you down. And all those times that life does that is what? That's a previous mistake that came up to the surface to be dealt with. It's the same with that health issue that's 10 foot tall and you're shoveling at it 1 inch at a time and you think you got a head on it and then it comes back again. Why? Because it's a 10 foot tall issue that was brought about by other times. But because you're conscious of it, you just keep plugging away at it, and pretty soon you literally have dug yourself out of that hole and it's no longer there. That's the nature of this game, guys, and your soul knows that. And this whole first week is the foundation of everything else to open your channels. Without this, you won't get as much value and you won't have as much tenacity in recognizing why we're doing what we're doing. The soul is the boss. What does that mean? Heal the soul first, and the mind and body will follow. Your soul is the carrier of all of the lifetimes of crud. Think about the first, I've thought about this often. It could be very, very wrong. This is my perspective. So, original source creator says, I want to experience. I'm going to make myself into a million little particles, give these particles free will, and let them go experience. When I'm done, I'll just breathe them back in. So here you and I are as a particle, and we float in space for billions and billions of years, and pretty soon we say, I wonder what happened if I thought this. And we think something which creates dichotomy, yin and yang. Because the moment we have a thought, we moved out of full enlightenment. Because thoughts take us out of enlightenment. So the moment we have a thought, yin and yang is created. And so then we have another thought, 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 and billions of years later, we're a human, having many, many thoughts between here and there, and going through various forms between here and there. And so now we're in the reverse process. Your soul is the carrier of everything from that original thought to where we are now. All the positive thoughts, all the negative thoughts, and all the stuff in between. Your soul remembers it all. It's right there. Think of it as I've used this ideology many times, as visual many times, but it helps. Think of it as you were a clean water bottle when you started, and each time you had a thought, there was like one drop of dirt, one drop of dirt, one drop of dirt. Pretty soon, the bottle's a little full. When you bring that bottle into the Tao calligraphy healing field, it's like running clean water. When you run clean water in that dirty bottle, start stirring it up, moving it out, stirring it up, moving it out. Every time you get a light bulb, stirs up a lot of it, moves it out, and the water becomes a little bit cleaner. So when you hear soul is the boss, when you hear heal the soul first and the mind and body follows, what that one sentence secret, the most powerful secret in the universe, is saying, spend your life putting the clean water in your body, putting the clean light in your body. Because by dedicating your life to that and cutting off all the forms of negative thoughts, all the greed, the judgments, the criticisms, all of that stuff, what are we doing? We're healing the soul first, which is the carrier of our stuff. When we don't do anything, our soul is like a mirror. It literally reflects in our physical life whatever's happening at the level of soul. If you have, if you in other times took people's money, that sits here and it literally reflects into our world, so we have money problems. If you in another life hurt animals' backs, then at the soul level, your back has a lot of darkness around it, and that causes pain in the back. Whatever your suffering is, it's sitting at the soul level. Heal the soul first, transform the blockages level of soul. Everything else in the physical world has to transform. That's what soul healing is. All those who have Tao hands, all those that work with calligraphy, why do you think it works? Because the light is going to the blockage at that soul. It's not healing the person's back. You miss the point if you think that's what's happening. It's healing all of the blockages at the back on the soul. The soul has a light back. It has a light being, looks like a back. And it has darkness around it. Maybe it hurt animals in a previous time. So when we offer blessings, it is not to the physical person's back. It is to the back of the soul. And then the light is clear, the light is clear, and the light is clear. The person says, oh, I feel better. Why? Because their physical life is a reflection of what's happening at the level of soul. You get it? This will make you a much better healer. It'll make you a much wiser person if you really get this one sentence secret. It is everything. The soul's purpose in life is to serve. to serve our own soul's purpose and intention. What does it want to serve? It wants to serve our own soul's purpose and intention. But our own soul's purpose and intention is not selfish. Our own soul knows that serving others is the highest form of reversing everything. Our soul knows that. So our soul is selfish in that it wants you to know that, but our soul's purpose is to serve its own intention, and its intention is to serve others because it knows that's the single highest form of transforming the all of the crud, the ego, the mindsets, attitudes, beliefs, the heart blockages, the greeds, the corruptions, the sexuality issues, all of that. It knows the fastest way to do that, service. The purpose of your soul life is to clear our negative blockages. The purpose of your soul life is to create good and positive virtue. Get rid of the old, bring in more new. The soul wants to serve humanity, to return to oneness. There are many enlightened beings that come back. They made it. They got there. They don't need to come back. Why do they come back? Because at the deepest level, they know that they can't go even higher until they serve more. The guy that's sitting upstairs having a nice cup of tea, talking to the other enlightened beings about, oh man, those guys down there on earth are suffering a lot, aren't they? Let's send them a little light. Okay. How much virtue does God give them? This much. Thank you for sending them light. But the enlightened being that comes down here, goes through the suffering, helps others to become enlightened, serves others, finds their way back to where they were, and then goes higher. Heaven just pours massive amounts of virtue on them. When they come back, the guys that they were drinking tea with, they're about 20 rungs lower. The guy that came down here and suffered and helped others, he went way higher. Way higher. This is not an easy place. Nothing about earth is easy. We get our tails kicked down here. And nothing easy about this. But if you find this kind of wisdom, thank you, Master Shah, and if you grasp it and you work with it and you don't let go of the tail of the tiger, you hold on with everything you've got, you will reach where you were at last time and you will go higher. And that's why you're here. Because you wouldn't be in this class if you weren't already awakened, and you wouldn't be here if you didn't want to at the soul level. Think about this. As much suffering as you might be going through at the soul level before you came in, your soul was like, yes, I want to come in. Can you imagine that? You're sitting here suffering and your soul was up there going, yeah, I want to come in. Here, where you're at now, you're probably like, what in the heck were you thinking? This is not fun, man. Some of us have those thoughts. You might not. Maybe you're happier than that, but you might have had those thoughts in this life. But your soul was excited to come in. Why? Because it knows that this time around, with this wisdom, with this light, with this teacher, the opportunity for dramatic upliftment is like you're never going to get that sitting up there drinking cup of tea with your friends. They know that. That's why they're here. That's why you're here. So just in case you didn't know that, now you do. You guys having fun yet? I'm going to pause for a minute. Give everyone a chance to tea break, pee break.
Yes, it's going great.
Thank you, Karen. So 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and we'll come right back.
surprising. Can you give that a kiss? Can you give that a kiss? Oh, he's so pretty. He's so pretty, man. I'm not little. I'm not one of these.
Okay. All right, so I will pause another 1 minute in case those are just coming back into the room or just finishing up their mini break. Let's see where I'm at in my slideshow here. Yeah, we got 2 more slides.
Paul, did you say, are we not supposed to be seeing the slides again this time?
Up until this point, no, I've had them off on purpose. I just been going through each bullet point one by one,
Okay,
but they're just bullet points, so they're not all that exciting.
okay.
Okay, let's go ahead and get started again. So happy to see you guys here. Thank you for taking the time to be with me. Hope you're enjoying this. And the key for this program is this is a 8-week program. I've taught the first 4 weeks. This is the middle section, and then there's the advanced section. And you can see it's just power packed with good stuff. And sometimes we have to, even if you've attended these kinds of courses before, sometimes it's important to be in the field that a master teacher carries. It's not my energy. The Master Shah has blessed me with a very high frequency field. And so, just like when Master Shah speaks, you can know the stuff is clearing. It's a much, much smaller version of that, but it is clearing stuff. Okay. It's bringing aha moments, and it's helping you to open your heart more and to recognize the value. So towards the end of this, I'll give you the cost to join the program. But one of the aspects of the costing structure is we want people to be in the field as much as possible. So I made it extremely affordable, where you can spend 2 months in the Tao calligraphy healing field. We literally have 50 practices a month. That's a lot when you're talking about being in the field. And so when you're wanting to open your channels, if you did 100 practices over a period of actually be more than that, it'd be about 150 practices over a period of 3 months to open your spiritual channels, that's a significantly good chance they're going to be a lot more open than they would without that kind of a structure. And when you do practice by yourself, very different than doing practice within the healing field. So when I show you the pricing for joining this 8-week program, it includes 2 months in the Tao calligraphy healing field. So it's just like, it's almost free when you see the value of what we offer. Let's go ahead and move into the final stages of this teaching. And I'll go ahead and share my slide. So we've talked about your soul, and we said that it can communicate with other souls. Let's talk more about that. In this course, we're going to break into soul communication right around the 5th week. We're going to set the stage for it and then move into soul communication. And we're going to be talking about inner souls and outer souls. You can communicate with the inner souls, and you can and should communicate with the outer souls. Outer souls are God, Tao, Source. You have a heavens team. Your heavens team is actually very wise, and it knows even more than your soul at times. Why? Because your heaven team has an agenda. It has instructions, so to speak. The reason a heavens team comes is to guide your soul. Your heavens team gets information and messages from very high up. It knows what would serve you best. It knows what would serve your plan best. And sometimes your heavens team can be comprised of your guides, angels, and saints. They can be comprised of best friends from previous times. They can be comprised of previous spiritual teachers that are in the soul world now. It could be comprised of very, very high level beings that you might not think would be on your heavens team. So a heavens team can vary in size. It can be a few to hundreds to thousands of souls on your team. It really depends on you. It depends on your light and your intention. If you were steadfast as a rock and you said, I am going to reach the highest, fullest enlightenment in this life. I will give up anything and everything. I don't care. I'll stop eating. I'll stop drinking. I'll do whatever it takes. I'm not saying you do that. But if that's the kind of rock hard vow, if you make a vow of that nature, just an example, right? Heaven hears everything. Heaven hears your cussing. Heaven hears they see everything you do, and they hear the vows. If you make a vow of that nature, you will have a much larger heavens team. Now, they will stay and help you to accomplish that task, or they will leave if you fall away from your task. So your team can grow or shrink according to your service and the amount of intention that you put forth into things. Sometimes a heavens team actually grows because Master Sha gives us a certain size download, treasure, or transmission, and we just get 100 new souls that come to our team. And we don't even really know it unless you had a soul reading, a high-level teacher tell you that they've come to you. Every once in a while, will come with a not so high transmission from Master Sha, but from other high-level teachers that work underneath him. Sometimes you'll get additional 1 or 2 team members with that transmission. So your team can fluctuate, but they all have one purpose: to help you either in relationship to the transmission you received, or to help you overall with your soul journey to accomplish your goals, your tasks, the tasks of your soul, or the things that you vow. Right? So those are the intentions. So soul communication, you will actually learn how to hear messages from those souls. Soul to soul communication is our natural way. Literally, where there's literally, I'm going to stop the screen because there's just more bullet points. I'll just talk to you. But there's literally 7,000 languages, I believe was what I saw on some kind of Google search, in the world. 7,000 languages. That's a lot of opportunity to make a mistake in hearing things. I mentioned to you my errors with my wife, right? So there's so much room for suffering just in human-to-human relationship. We see it all the time. But at the level of soul, it's free of that kind of a blockage. Literally, at the level of soul, there is no such thing as a miscommunication. It's clear communication. It's just, did you hear it right or not? And I'm not talking at the human level. At the soul-to-soul level, it's always heard right. There's the story in the Bible, and I'm not a guru with the Bible at all, so it's going to be totally off. But I know the stories are, and the story of I think it was one of the disciples, I don't know which one, was doing a sermon at a mount, and there were apparently people from many different countries, many different areas that have come that all speak different languages, but what they say in the Bible was that they all understood what the disciple was saying. And so how is that possible? Soul language. That's how that's possible. Soul language is in the final course. But souls are always talking to each other. So it's really, really important to understand that souls are always talking to each other, whether you're conscious of it or not. And it's really important to understand that it is a soul's natural way of communication. And as you can open your channels and you start to realize, I don't know if I can talk to that tree, or I don't know if I can talk to that animal. It's natural. Your soul's already talking to the animal. It's really about you tuning in to that frequency. It's really about you clearing your crud so that you can receive the message clearly, because your soul's already chatting with whoever you want to chat to at the physical level. Souls have no time, no space. No time, no space. What does that mean? That's kind of catchy, phrasey. I've heard that before. No time, no space. What does that mean? Okay, well, let's go deep on this one for a minute. If Source created everything, every speck of energy, every speck of matter, is the speck of energy and matter next to Pluto the same speck of energy and matter next to you and me? No, it is not. Okay. But how is it possible then for a being of light, like a Jesus or a Buddha or Mother Mary, to just instantly manifest? How can they be here and also be serving the other 10 million people that are calling on them at the same time? Let's go a little further. You've heard a thing called dimensions. First, second, third, fourth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, blah, 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 blah. I have people tell me, I'm in the 7th dimension. I really don't know. I just know what my teachers taught me. No time, no space. So if that's true, you and I are here in what they're referring to as the 3rd dimension. Who's in the 4th? Well, according to my teacher, Master Shah, he says that, the beings of light that we refer to as beloved beings of light, Jesus, Mother Mary, etc., they're in the 4th. Can you see them? No, cannot. I can't. Can you? Possibly with the 3rd eye. Why? Because the 3rd eye has frequency and vibration that is adjusted to 4th dimension frequency and vibration. Our physical eye sees this much. 3rd eye sees more. It sees a higher vibrational frequency. It sees into the potentiality of other frequency. What you might call dimension, 4th, 5th, blah, 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 from a science perspective is just a range of frequencies. It's just a range of frequencies. If the entire range in all creation was between 0 and 100, we might only be able to see with our physical eye between 4 and 8. But that doesn't mean the other stuff isn't there. But we judge everything by our 5 senses, so we say, must not be there. My 5 senses is all I have, and since I'm the boss and I know everything, I'm the personality Paul, I know everything, everyone else is full of it. My 5 senses tell me everything I need to know. No time, no space. All of these dimensions exist at once. All of these frequencies exist at once. God is with us now. God is not over there or over there. God is not 1 hour away. No time, no space. God is here and now. Jesus is here and now. Buddha is here and now. You and I are here and now. 4th dimension is here and now. 7th dimension is here and now. No time, no space. When we open our spiritual channels, we are connecting to a frequency and vibration that is already here and now. No time, no space. Have you ever offered a healing remotely to somebody? Raise your hand. Have you offered a healing remotely to somebody? Did it work? Yes. Remotely means not in the same room. Why did it work? There's a difference in space, isn't there? How did it work? Why did it work? Because our souls live in the same time and space. Did you offer healing to their lower back physically, even though they were 2,000 miles away? How is that possible? Or did you offer the healing to their soul of their back, which lives in the same time and space as you do? No time, no space. Souls live in this arena. We're in this 3rd dimensional experience trying to figure this whole thing out. And you may be one of those people that sees light and all kinds of things happening all around you, and you're like, oh, I'm going to go crazy. All it is your attunements that you came in with or are adjusting to is able to discern with more than their five senses, touch, smell, sight, sound, whatever. You're able to discern more than what you normally could as the average Joe. But you're trying to analyze it with your five senses, therefore it drives you crazy. Stop doing that. Just observe it. It's there. You have the apparatus to observe other frequencies and vibrations that some might call fourth or fifth or sixth dimension. I don't care what you call it. It's simply a range of vibrational frequencies that's happening all at once. And we are in it, regardless if we like it or not. And so the highest level, we'll say it's at the 100 level, just for simple math. That might be source creator. And there's all levels of stuff in between. Great. So how do we get there? Remove the old, add the good stuff. Be good, happy, healthy, smiley, serve people, serve better, add light bulbs, add transmissions, get crown chakra blessings, remove the crud as fast as you can, put your physical vessel in the Tao calligraphy healing field as much as possible, and you will become a happier and healthier person. It is the most efficient way to fix and solve problems. It is the most efficient way to fix and solve problems. I promise you it is. Soul communication is really the key. It's so important to start practicing more soul communication. Stop using your brain, your monkey mind, and your analytical nature to deal with things. Stop it. Our mind is very important, but we need to guide our mind. Who guides the mind? The heart guides the mind. Who guides the heart? The soul guides the heart. Most of you have seen the charts. Shen, soul, guides the heart, which guides the mind, which then redirects the energy and the matter. Heal the soul first, the heart then leads the mind, which leads the energy and the matter to transform. Heal the soul first, the mind and body follows. So soul communication is clearly hearing the messages so that you can have a happier, healthier life. Soul communication is full connection to your soul. It is many things, but one of it is asking for forgiveness on behalf of your soul, actually. Because honestly, I'm a pretty good guy. You're probably a pretty good person. We've made mistakes, but not so many big ones. We're where we're at. It's not accidental. We're here. We're pretty good overall. But we've all made some significant mistakes, right? And we're sorry for those. And we've tried to make amends for those. And yet we still have dramatic negative mindsets, or we still can't rub two nickels together, or no matter what we do, our health issue is still heavy. What do we do? Is it our stuff? I'm a good person. Why am I suffering so much in A, B, or C area? But I'm a good person. It boils down to our soul is the carrier of all of the lifetimes of crud, all the lifetimes of negative information. Whether you like it or not, whether you did it or not, it's there. So one of the biggest blockages is we don't do sincere forgiveness. I'm going to cover that in week 3, sincere forgiveness. So asking forgiveness is very important. But the key to opening your spiritual channels more now is to not create new blockages. Negative mindset, sorry. Negative judgment on that person that walks down the street with their shorts funny, sorry. Something you hear on television, oh, what an idiot. Oh, sorry. Right? I have to do that myself many times, still doing it. Lots of room for improvement. Stop creating new blockages. Stop creating new trouble for your soul journey. Be proactive. Be responsible. Instantly, sorry, heaven. Sorry, the soul of this person I was just judging. I deeply apologize. You can go one step further. Dear the soul of everybody that I've ever had a judgment towards, I deeply apologize. That's one step further. Because oftentimes those things that we catch ourselves on, we've done it many times before. Many times we judge or critical, these things fly out of our mouth because it's a form of ego, actually. Sorry for my ego, trying to make myself higher than that person, trying to make myself better than that person. Ego. All of these are blockages on our soul journey. How are we going to become enlightened? How are we going to open our spiritual channels if that ego's in there keeping my heart closed? Ask for guidance moving forward. This is soul communication. Dear my soul, can you please help me to move forward? Can you please give me guidance today for what would help me to move through this current blockage? Ask for support to relieve the health blockage. Dear my beloved soul, I love you. I've had this long-standing health blockage for a while now. And I've had readings over here, and I've heard this, and I've got a light ball, and it's still there. Can you please give me some guidance? Work with me. I'll keep checking with you every day. I'll be quiet. I'll listen. To what can I do each and every day to help this blockage dissolve? And you might hear, turn on your light bulb, do forgiveness specifically for all those souls whose backs you have harmed, and do it for 2 hours. What? 2 hours? I don't have 2 hours. I only got 15 minutes. Monkey mind, soul guidance. What are you going to do? Right? But your soul will tell you. The key is to hear it. Ask for support to release your emotional blockages. Very important. Dear my soul, I love you. Dear my heavens team, outer souls, I love you. Dear God, Jesus, I love you. Call them all, but especially call your soul. Could you please help me to transform this emotional suffering right now? A lot of people suffering on the political spectrum right now. Dear my soul, can you please help me to open my heart, release attachment, whatever happens, happens. Thank you. Relationship. Dear my soul, I'm having some difficulty with my spouse. Can you please bless me to open my heart, see both sides, release some of my ego, find a balance. Thank you. Just sit quietly. Soul light opens my heart. Soul light opens my heart. Your soul can heal you. Your soul can help you with your emotions. Dear my soul, financial suffering is pretty difficult right now. I know I probably earned this financial suffering. I deeply apologize. Can you please give me guidance? And can you please bless me at this time to feel confident that things will turn around, and to have some insights as to what I can do? And you just, your soul will give you the guidance, but you have to ask and communicate with you. Have any of you done that, or have you just complained about the finances? Have you actually checked with your soul? It knows that if you have financial blockages, it knows that if you just pick up that one letter that you stuck in the corner of the drawer 2 weeks ago, that piece of information in that letter could get you out of your hole. But how are you going to hear that message if you're not communicating with your soul? It knows that if you just let go of this one attachment with your relationship, that you can go and ask forgiveness, and instantly, instead of 2 weeks of hell, it's all resolved in 1 day. Your soul can guide you this way. Ask your soul. Very important. These are aspects of opening your spiritual channels. Why are you going to open them? Who are you going to talk to? Is it just to talk to Jesus, or to open your third eye and see Jesus? And then voila, woo, they're really there. I'm so excited now. Yay. Does that solve your problems? No. It just validates that maybe they're there. Opening your spiritual channels is so that we can stop our suffering and be happy. Use your soul. It knows. It has great wisdom. It will help you. Use mantra. Mantra carries frequency and vibration. What have I been saying this whole time? Use mantra. It carries frequency and vibration. Use the Tao calligraphy field. Use the light bulbs. Use the Tao calligraphies. They all carry higher frequency and vibration than you and me. And it helps us to shovel out the crud. What does mantra do? Alula, lula, li. Okay? I love you. Whatever the mantra is, it's a higher frequency and vibration. You can make one up, honestly, as long as it carries frequency and vibration. God, 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 Buddha, 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 Jesus, Jesus. If it carries higher frequency and vibration, chant it. Master Sha's number one wisdom. Mind on your Ming Men, always chanting. Number one wisdom. Why is that his number one never changed wisdom? Because if you put your mind in a specific location, are you going monkey mind here, monkey mind there? What am I thinking? Judgment, criticism? No. Your mind is on a specific location, your Ming Men, the Tao point. Also, why are you chanting? Because your mind's not going, da, judgment, this, criticism, that, finances, this, worry that, da, 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 da. If you're chanting and focused in one place, what are you doing? Higher frequency, higher frequency, higher frequency, higher frequency. You're clearing your crud constantly. Easy to say, not so easy to do. But if you ingrain it in your consciousness, put the stickers on your forehead, on your mirror, and everywhere else, and try to do your best to constantly keep your mind out of the negativity. Sorry, God, sorry, heaven, sorry, the person I just judged, criticized. And you stop creating new blockages. And after you say sorry, okay, God's lie, God's lie, God's lie. Positive mantra. Just keep doing it. You might make 40 mistakes a day, but if you catch yourself 40 times, congratulations, you're at 0. If you make 37 mistakes the next day, congratulations, you're at +3. This is how you move up in the spiritual journey. This is how you grow your soul. This is how you reach enlightenment. One day at a time. You make a mistake, you slip, and you have 42 negative messages. Say, I'm sorry that night. Start again. Reset. All right. So I'm going to do a final flow, and then we'll open up for sharing, and then I'll give you guys homework. Tell you about how to join the course. A flow is a message from heaven. It's using open spiritual channels. For those that don't know this, watching for the first time, flow, anyone can do it. Just like anyone can open their third eye, anyone can do everything we're talking about. Every human is built the same. We all have the same apparatus. Anyone can do this. It simply takes practice, consistency, not adding new blockages, removing the old blockages, and aligning yourself with practice to here. So I'm going to ask Kevin for a message for you. How? This is Paul's soul. Paul said, really? Why you when I came? He was fearful that whatever might be said could be ego-based. He thought that maybe divine would come. I am here. I have come to tell you about Paul's life and why this is of value to you. Paul was awakened at a young age. You might have a similar story. Paul found Master Sha and his wisdom. You might have a similar story. Paul opened his spiritual channels when he started taking Master Sha's classes. Actually, his second enlightened master helped him tremendously when she opened his crown chakra. And Kuan Yin helped him tremendously when she gave him the purple sphere during the soul journey travel. But it was the wisdom of Master Sha that helped him immensely. During this entire teaching, Paul was not there. He was speaking, for the most part, in flow. He looked at the bullet point and spoke whatever came out his mouth. This is important for each of you to understand, because when one communicates with the soul world, they speak truths. How many of you hearts were opened by these teachings today? How many of you had multiple aha moments that you have studied this for how many years, and yet for the first time you heard very clearly things that you had never heard before, even though they may have been stated a bit differently? This is because of the nature of alignment to the soul world. This is what each of you need to accomplish, for this kind of wisdom and information is available to all. Paul is simply a personality that has attuned enough to hear the soul world's messages. This course is not Paul teaching it. Granted, his personality is involved. He sometimes has slang, cuss, says things that probably inappropriate for a master teacher. But this is how he communicates. We love him. We still send him blessings. However, for you, it is important that you do what is best for your journey. If this teaching resonates with you, be sure to sign up. It will change your life. This is not of question. If this resonates with you, be sure to tell others, because each soul that reaches a higher layer of enlightenment is more light on the planet. And just like the 100th monkey theory, when enough souls reach high enough layers of awakening and enlightenment, there is a mass awakening, and that is very important, especially at this time on Earth. So I am grateful to Paul for being able to deliver these higher vibration frequency messages that came from the soul world, and certainly not from me. I am very grateful for the opportunity to communicate with you. This is Paul's soul. Ha, ha, ha. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So difficult to actually do that flow. I could feel myself vacillating between me saying, what's he going to say next? And then just flowing out whatever he was going to say, not knowing if it was going to say something about me or what he was going to say. It's interesting. But this is the nature of being in flow. This is the nature of opening your spiritual channels. When you do the practices, you can discern, is that me saying it? Is that not me saying it? You literally can watch what's going to be said next. Okay. Oh, okay. My soul was saying this and I was listening. Going, oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. Okay. Well, that's good. Oh, I'm glad you said that. But I didn't know what my soul was going to say next. And so when you open your spiritual channels, you can do things like that. We'll be at the beginnings of those kinds of teachings and go into a little bit more advanced in the final section. So now let me put the share back on. Excuse me, So this is what I would really like all of those to do, whether you choose to attend my course or not. This is very important homework for all of you. Offer your food and your drink every day to your soul, your heavens team, to God. Some of you already do it. Some of you already heard this wisdom. Some of you, it's the first time hearing it. Offer your food, dear God, dear Source, dear Jesus, dear Buddha, dear whoever you resonate with, okay? Dear Mother Earth. I don't believe in anything else, but I believe in you, Mother Earth. Great. Offer your food to Mother Earth, whoever you believe in. I don't really have an attachment to your belief systems. Offer your food, your water, your drink to the soul world, the light beings first. Why? Because you will instantly get blessed. Well, you don't do it to get blessed, but that's a natural side effect. When you do that, do you think God's going to come down and slurp up your Pepsi? Do you think Jesus is going to come down and eat your burrito? Of course not. But they're going to come down and they're going to say, oh, my beautiful son, my beautiful daughter, blessed, offered me their food before themselves. That was very selfless. I will bless their food, clear any blockages from the meat that was in that burrito so that they're not impacted by the negative energy that's in the meat that's in the burrito. I will bless the water so it has a higher frequency and vibration. When it goes into their cells, they will purify out some of the toxins in their body. This is what the beings of love and light do. And you learn, you are training your brain to offer them, to connect to the soul world. You are training your brain and your heart, and the part of you that thinks you are the 99%, you are converting it to, oh my God, I am actually the 1%, and the 99% is what is real. And you are in the process of converting your awareness and consciousness to that. That's what this assists you to do. It moves you, yes, into gratitude, but more importantly, it helps you to realize, oh my God, they're really here and they're always serving me 100% of the time. Maybe I should wake up a bit more, start to listen to them, and start to follow the guidance. Because they will help you so much more when you honor, respect, and acknowledge them. It's a simple practice. Now, here's what's going to happen. Some of you be like, oh, great, I'm going to do that. Okay. Some of you maybe grew up in prayers. Great. Expand your prayers. Maybe you already do it every meal. You know, the Spanish community, definitely do that. Offer blessings to Mother Mary. This is very common in their community. But maybe you haven't. If you have and you already do that, go deeper. Add your soul. Add your heavens teams, guides, angels, and saints. Okay. Add Mother Earth and the sun and the moon, the stars, planets, galaxies, and universes. They serve you too. Add the whales and dolphins. Give them gratitude. Offer them the food too, right? So expand. And if you're new at it, here's what'll happen. Unless you're just amazing and you have a photographic memory, a photographic everything, you'll have the spoon already in your mouth. And you're already chewing on bite number 2. Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Well, first of all, don't get upset because sorry, I got upset. So you catch yourself. Food's already in your mouth. You already chewed 2 bites. Dear God, thou source, dear heaven, da 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 da. Love you, honor you. Please forgive me for not honoring you first, respecting you first. Everything else that I haven't touched, please enjoy it first. That's how you do it. You don't guilt yourself. You don't slam the coon down. You don't get mad. You say, oh, I'll get better next time. You give yourself positive comment. I'll get better next time. And the next time, spoon's already in your mouth. Ow. Did it again, but I'll get better next time. Dear heaven, do that. And you keep repeating. It took me over a year before every time I started offering food and water. Actually, I still don't offer the drinks every time. But food I'm good at. It took me a year. But that's the necessity. That's a spiritual practice that will open your spiritual channels faster. Because the more you align to the soul world, you're moving from the 1% to the 99% that's always been there, that you came from, and you're moving away from the falseness of this experience. When you wake up, next way to attune to the soul world, next way to open your spiritual channels, when you wake up, this is very important, you should write it down. Say 3 new things that you are grateful for. 3 new things that you are grateful for. They cannot be the things you said yesterday or last week or 3 weeks ago. You must come up with 3 new things that you have never offered gratitude for. When you get into week 2 and 3, you're going to be going, this is tough. Because you're going to go through the first 3 weeks, all the obvious. But when you start forcing yourself into a new thing to be grateful for, you will start to create an energy in your field that attracts, that validates source. You will start to create an energy in your field that removes negative information and attracts positive information. When you find new things to be grateful for, it literally brings you aha moments. Oh my God, I'm so grateful for my car starting every day. Because without it, I couldn't even go to work. Oh my God, I'm so grateful for my friend Becky in the mornings. She always comes in with a smile. And it really makes my day. Those are the things that'll be like a month or 2 long when you really have to search. But when you do, it will bring enlightenment to your day, because it will lighten up your day. That's the second way and a second practice. This is your homework. The third thing, after you've thought of those 3 gratitudes, ask your soul, dear my soul, what is my priority today? What do I need to focus on today, my beloved soul? And wait and listen and do what your soul suggests. Well, I didn't hear anything. It doesn't work for me. My soul doesn't love me. I'm so blocked. Right? Probably at least half of you have said those kinds of things. So what? Listen anyway. Continue to do your practice. If you don't hear anything, what do you say? If you don't see something with your third eye, do you say, my third eye doesn't work, this sucks, I'm going to stop? If you don't hear from your soul, do you say, oh, well, must not be there, doesn't work? No, you don't do that. Duh. You say, thank you. Gratitude. Third eye doesn't work? Thank you. Every time you have an opportunity to see something, dear my third eye, could you please show me what's happening when Paul is doing a flow? Dear my third eye, can you show me what's happening when Francisco is transmitting this blessing? Dear my third eye, can you show me something while I'm meditating? Nothing, nothing, nothing. Black, black, black. Dear my soul, can you please give me a message? Nothing. What's your answer every time? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Please forgive me for my blockages. I will continue to open my heart more. I will continue to practice more. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to hear these messages and see more clearly each time. Thank you. That, you think, who's watching that? Who's watching? Heaven is watching. Heaven is testing you. You do that, you might be a whole year of doing that. And then one day, dink, third eye pops open. One day, dink, very clear message from your soul. Usually won't take a year. Definitely for clear messages, could be very short. But for other spiritual channels, could take longer. All right, let's talk about spiritual testing for just a minute. Spiritual testing is when you're in a difficult place, physically in pain, emotionally not happy, financially suffering, health issues, whatever, suffering. When you get stuck in that woe is me place, woe is me, my life stinks, I can't seem to get ahead no matter what. No matter what our story is, when you find yourself in that place, what is your solution? Step one, write it down. Catch yourself. Got to catch yourself before you can change it. Catch yourself. Step two. I forgive myself for wallowing in my suffering. Forgive yourself. I forgive myself for giving this suffering energy. I love myself. I forgive myself for spending the last 30 minutes in this loop in my head. I did a lot of head loops, sit there for a half hour. Now I'm down to like 10 seconds before I catch myself. Just got to keep practicing. Step three, transform it. Okay, catch it. Forgive yourself. Okay, don't poop on yourself. Don't judge yourself. Laugh at yourself a little bit. Up, there it is again. That happened 5 times yesterday. There it is again. For a lot of us, we'll catch ourselves 30 times if you're actually conscious. You can catch yourself in a negative mind loop 30 times a day if you're actually conscious. So laugh at it. There it is again. Even keep track. A little thunk, thunk, thunk. Oh, that was number 27. Tomorrow I'm going to do better. Tomorrow you might get, wow, it's down to 22. This is awesome. It's working. Turn it into a fun thing. But transform it. Catch it. Forgive yourself. Okay. Dear heaven, dear my soul, in any of my healing transmissions, please transform whatever it is to love and light. And then chant. Lula, lula, lee. And then the phone rings. Hello? Oh my God, it's that person again. Oh, sorry. Negative thought. Start again. So this is life, guys. Life will constantly whack you upside the head. Thunk, 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 every 5 minutes or so. It'll give you a wonderful opportunity to transform. That's life. Here's the good news. You have a soul. It has wisdom. It has guidance. You have a heavens team. They're there to help you. We have all the healing fields. We have all the light bulbs. We have everything to make that stuff go away very fast. Here's the bad news. We can only do 50%. You got to do the other 50% with your own consciousness. All right. So in conclusion, let me show up this last slide here. Then we'll open it for comments, statements, questions on the course. Give me just a second to show you this slide. Where are you hiding at? There you are. Okay. That's my PDF. I grabbed the wrong one. Let's try this one. There we go. Okay. In conclusion, your soul is the boss. Everything in this intermediate 8-week program is about clearing blockages at the level of soul, not at the level of the body. It's not about opening your spiritual channels. It's about clearing blockages at the level of soul so that you can open your spiritual channels. Now, this link right here, which I'll put in the PDF, this actually takes you to a link that I have of a landing page that I made that explains, the first 2 sections of this course. That'll be in the PDF. So here's the course. It starts today. Ta-da! Goes for 8 weeks. It skips over Christmas Eve, the 24th, and goes to December 31st. So it's actually 9 weeks, skipping the 8th week. It is every Thursday from 7 to 8:30 p.m. The cost is $195 for 8 weeks. And that's about $25 a class. It's about right, $25 a class. Now, here's the special. I've been saying all this whole time, you need to have the Tao Calligraphy Wellness Field, okay? Our Wellness Field program is $149 a month. It includes the 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, in the Tao Calligraphy Healing Field, which is 5:30 in the afternoon Pacific time, for those that want to know. So at Eastern time, it still works for you. A lot of locations, it still works for you. And so it's 3 days a week where you have the meditation, the Tai Chi, you have the healing circle, the liquid light massage, and we do 4 morning practices, 4 evening practices. Literally, 3 days of the week, there's 3 practices, and 1 day of the week, there's 4 practices. 4 days of the week, there's 4 practices. Anyway, there's 50 practices a month in the field. This is the key. That's $149 a month. This is an 8-week program. That's a 2 months. So if you just got the field, you would pay $300. If you just got the 8-week program, you'd pay $200. Collectively, that's $500. I'm asking for both programs for half that. $250, and you get 2 months in the Tao Calligraphy Healing Field, and you get 8 weeks of this incredible training. $249. That's basically $125 a month. Okay. If you need to pay it over time, let me know. You can pay it halves. That's fine. For those that are in Australia, I will honor the 25% discount. You would just sign up as a senior, and so you can attend if you wish. Same thing for those in Canada, if you happen to be watching this. So you're paying more in those countries. I understand. You just use the senior link. But this is how I can serve you. So now I'm going to stop the show and see. I'm going to go ahead and drop the links, by the way, into the chat for registration. And you can open the line and share any questions. Feel free to ask the questions, any sharing. And if you are talking, I can't hear you. Okay, so let's see. So there's the link for everyone. You're welcome to open the line, guys. You don't have to type in the chat. Yeah, some people had to run to the next section. So NNC asks, hi, Paul, can you call on Heaven's saints to guide artwork? or call upon soul to of mother to teach painting. Absolutely. Absolutely, you can call in their souls. You can also call on if you're painting, you can call on the soul of your favorite artist to come and give you inspiration. You can call on the soul of your own soul, who has probably been an artist before, to ask for inspiration and guidances. The soul world is always there to help you. Absolutely, you can. Let me read some of the other comments. Sorry, I didn't see them earlier. Passing through suffering helps our soul. Okay. This class is recorded. Terry asked if the class, or somebody's commenting if the class is recorded. Yeah, for those that registered, I will send the recording out so you can share it with others that you think might be interested. Ideally, we would want them to have attended the first level class. That's the ideal. This is not a good class, as you can tell by the verbiage I used, for a brand new person. They should absolutely attend the first class. So when I send out that email, the recording, I'll send out the link to the first class as well. I have a recording of the first class. The first class is Lower Dantian, Kundalini, Message Center, Heart Chakra, and Zhu Chao. And I repeat it every month. So I just started in November, so they don't miss anything. They can watch the recording and come in for the Kundalini teaching and so forth, catch right up. This class I repeat every 2 months, so nobody will miss anything, and you can share it with others, and they'll be happy to see it. Okay. All right, and great. So thank you, everybody. I hope to, if you haven't signed up already, that you do. And if it's a money issue, let me know. We'll try to figure something out for you. Love you, love you, love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And all the beautiful souls of love and light that came to offer their service today. Gong song, gong song, gong song. Ha. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Bye.